I think we can talk a little bit about a concept related to a previous video I did where I talked about energy bleed, and I think it's useful for all War Thunder players to understand a bit more about how this works. So I've got the typical drag curve here, one curve called the total drag curve, and it consists of two smaller curves, one called the lift-induced drag curve and the other the parasitic drag curve. I've never spoken to you guys about parasitic drag, but it's basically the type of drag people think about when you mention drag in aviation. So it increases quadratically with speed and it's dependent on the shape of an object. You all have an idea about what would be incurring more or less drag. Like extending your air brakes will definitely incur a lot more drag, and this drag is parasitic drag. That's why your air brake will be much more effective at higher speeds than at lower speeds, because the second component of the total drag is the lift-induced drag, and that increases quadratic with speed going down. But basically what this means is that as our speed goes down and we fly slower and we increase our angle of attack, the lift coefficient increases, and this is the part that has a quadratic relation with the lift-induced drag. And something happens there, what's going to be the takeaway of this is as soon as you're at the back side of the curve, which is basically the left half, if you look at the total drag, you enter a situation where there's more drag the slower you get. So you'll need more engine power to sustain a lower speed. But as soon as it hits the backside, you're gonna be stuck at a certain speed unless you make some drastic changes. And typically in a game like War Thunder, where you're turn fighting, you're already at your maximum power. So the only way to escape this is by nosing down, decreasing your induced drag. So you need to find that optimal turning point for your particular aircraft, and it will change per weight, per altitude, per everything, because you would also get the thrust available in this story actually, and that changes per altitude. But we're not going to touch that now. So yeah, that's something that I wanted to share with you guys, is how counterintuitive an aircraft can handle when you get to that backside of the curve, and it's usually in the relatively low speed ranges, right? So yeah, that's just something for you guys to keep into account when you're playing. If you really see yourself struggling to keep that turn, just nose down and get out of that situation, because you're a sitting duck and you're probably stuck on the backside of the curve